to enable the cessation of all material existence. As long as we require some material facilities, we will get them. But these facilities will not solve the problems of life. I have traveled throughout the world, and it is my opinion that American boys and girls have the best material facilities. But does this mean that they have attained peace? Can anyone say, yes, I'm completely peaceful? If this is so, why are American youngsters so frustrated and confused? As long as we practice yoga in order to attain some material facility, there will be no question of peace. Yoga should only be practiced in order to understand Krishna. Yoga is meant for the re-establishment of our lost relationship with Krishna. Generally, one joins a yoga society in order to improve his health, to reduce fat. People in rich nations eat more, become fat, and then pay exorbitant prices to so-called yoga instructors in order to reduce. People try to reduce. People try to reduce by all these artificial gymnastics. They do not understand that if they just eat vegetables or fruits and grains, they will never get fat. People get fat because they eat voraciously, because they eat meat. People who eat voraciously suffer from diabetes, overweight, heart attacks, etc. And those who eat insufficiently suffer from tuberculosis. Therefore, moderation is required, and moderation in eating means that we eat only what is needed to keep the body and soul together. If we eat more than we need or less, we will be diseased. Yes, pratyahara. All this is explained in the following verse. Nadyastantastu yogosti na chaikantam anashnataha na chati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi or Arjuna if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. Bhagavad Gita 6:16. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chetasya karmasu yukta svapnavobodasya yoga bhavati dukkha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. 6:17 Bhagavad Gita. It is not that we are to starve ourselves. The body must be kept fit for any practice. Therefore, eating is required, and according to our program, we eat only Krishna Prasad. If you can comfortably eat 10 pounds of food a day, then eat it. But if you try to eat 10 pounds out of greed or avarice, you will suffer. So in this practice of Krishna consciousness, all these activities are present, but they are spiritualized. The cessation of material existence does not mean entering into the void, which is only a myth. There is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. I am not void, but spirit soul. If I were void, how would my bodily development take place? Where is this void? If we sow a seed in the ground, it grows into a plant or large tree. The father injects a seed into the womb of a mother, and the body grows like a tree. Where is the void? In the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita 14:4, Krishna states, Sarvas yonishu kaunteya murtya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija paradah pita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. The seed is originally given by Krishna, placed in the womb of material nature, and thus many living entities are generated. How can one argue against this process? If the seed of existence is void, how has this body developed? Nirvana actually means not accepting another material body. It is not that we attempt to make this body void. Nirvana means making the miserable material conditional body void. That is converting the material body into a spiritual body. This means entering into the kingdom of God, which is described in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita 15:6. Na tad basyate suryo sasashanko na pavaka yadgatvana nivartante taddama paramam mama. That abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. So there is no void anywhere within the Lord's creation. All the planets in the spiritual sky are self-illuminated, like the sun. The kingdom of God is everywhere, but the spiritual sky and the planets thereof are all Param Dhamma, or superior abodes. As stated, sunlight, moonlight, or electricity are not required in the Paramdharma. We cannot find such an abode within this universe. We may travel as far as possible within our spaceship, but we will not find any place where there is no sunlight. The sunlight is so extensive that it pervades the universe. Therefore, that abode in which there is no sunlight, moonlight, or electricity is beyond this material sky. Beyond this material nature is a spiritual nature. Actually, we know nothing of this material nature. We do not even know how it was originally formed. So how can we know anything about the spiritual nature beyond? We have to learn from Krishna, who lives there. Otherwise, we remain in ignorance. In this Bhagavad Gita, information of the spiritual sky is given. How can we know anything about that which we cannot reach? Our senses are so imperfect. How can we attain knowledge? We just have to hear and accept. How will we ever know who our father is unless we accept the word of our mother? Our mother says, "Here is your father," and we have to accept this. We cannot determine our father by making inquiries here and there or by attempting to experiment. This knowledge is beyond our means. Similarly, if we want to learn about the spiritual sky, God's kingdom, we have to hear from the authority, Mother Vedas. The Vedas are called Veda Mata or Mother Vedas because the knowledge imparted therein is like that knowledge received from the mother. We have to believe in order to acquire knowledge. There is no possibility of acquiring this transcendental knowledge by experimenting with our imperfect senses. A consummate yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as is clearly stated here in Santim Nirvana Paramat Samstam Adhikachati by the Lord himself, can attain real peace and ultimately reach the supreme abode of the Lord. This abode is known as Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavan. In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated, Goloka eva nivasyatya kilatma bhuta, that the Lord, although residing always in his abode called Goloka, is the all-pervading Brahman and the localized Paramatma as well. By dint of his superior spiritual energies, no one can reach the spiritual sky or enter into the eternal abode of the Lord, Vaikuntha, Goloka Vrindavan, without properly understanding Krishna and his plenary expansion, Vishnu. And according to Brahma Samhita, it is necessary to learn from our authorized mother, Veda Mata. Brahma Samhita states that the Supreme Lord is living not only in his abode, Goloka Vrindavan, but everywhere. Goloka eva nivasyatya kilatma bhuta. Oh, this is a real long one. He is like the sun, which is millions of miles away and yet is still present within this room. In conclusion, the person who works in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi because his mind is always absorbed in Krishna's activities. Savai manah Krishna padara vindayo. In the Vedas, we also learn tammeva viditvati mrityumeti. One can overcome the path of birth and death only by understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Thus, perfection of yoga is the attainment of freedom from material existence and not some magical jugglery or gymnastic feat to be fool innocent people. In this system of yoga, moderation is required. Therefore, it is stated that we should not eat too much or too little, sleep too much or too little, or work too much or too little. All these activities are there because we have to execute the yoga system with this material body. In other words, we have to make the best use of bad bargain. The material body is a bad bargain in the sense that it is the source of all miseries. The spirit soul does not experience misery, and the normal condition of the living entity is his healthy spiritual life. Misery and disease occur due to the material contamination. Disease, infection. So, in a sense, material existence is diseased condition of the soul. And what is that disease? The answer is not a great mystery. The disease is this body. This body is actually not meant for me. It may be my body, but it is a symptom of my diseased condition. In any case, I should identify with this body no more than I should identify with my clothes. In this world, we are all differently dressed. We are dressed as red man, brown man, white man, black man, yellow man, or as Indians, Americans, Hindus, Muslims, Christians. All these designations are not symptomatic of our actual position, but our diseased condition. The yoga system is meant to cure this disease by connecting us again with the Supreme. We are meant to be connected with the Supreme, just as our hand is meant to be connected to our body. We are part and parcel of the Supreme, just as the hand is part and parcel of the body. When the hand is severed from the body, it is valueless, but when it is joined to the body, it is invaluable. Similarly, in this material condition, we are disconnected from God. Actually, the word disconnected is not precise because the connection is always there. God is always supplying all our necessities. Since nothing can exist without Krishna, we cannot be disconnected from him. Rather, it is better to say that we have forgotten that we are connected to Krishna. Because of this forgetfulness, we have entered this criminal department of the universe. The government still takes care of its criminals, but they are legally disconnected from the civilian state. Our disconnection is a result of our engaging in so many nonsensical activities instead of utilizing our senses in the performance of our Krishna conscious duties. Instead of thinking, I am the eternal servant of God or Krishna, we are thinking, I am the servant of my society, my country, my husband, my wife, my dog, or whatever. This is called forgetfulness. How has this come about? All these misconceptions have arisen due to this body. Because I was born in America, I'm thinking that I'm American. Each society teaches its citizens to think in this way. Because I'm thinking that I'm an American, the American government can tell me, come on and fight, give your life for your country. This is all due to the bodily conception. Therefore, an intelligent person should know that his suffering misery is due to his body, and that he should not act in such a way that he will continue to be imprisoned within a material body, birth after birth. According to Padma Purana, there are 8.4 million species of life, and all are but different forms of contamination. Whether one has an American body, an Indian body, a dog's body, a hog's body, or whatever. Therefore, the first instruction in yoga is, I am not this body. Attaining liberation from the contamination of the material body is the first teaching of Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, after Arjuna told Sri Krishna, I shall not fight, the Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Bhagavad Gita 2:11. In other words, Arjuna was thinking on the bodily platform. He wanted to leave the battlefield because he did not want to fight with his relatives. All his conceptions were within the bodily atmosphere. Therefore, after Arjuna accepted Sri Krishna as his spiritual master, the Lord immediately chastised him, just as a master chastises his disciples in order to teach him. Essentially, Sri Krishna told Arjuna, you are talking very wisely as if you know so many things, but actually you are speaking nonsense because you are speaking from the bodily position. Similarly, people throughout the world are posing themselves as highly advanced in education, science, philosophy, politics, etc., but their position is on the bodily platform. A vulture may rise very high in the sky, 7 or 8 miles, and it is wonderful to see him flying this way. He also has powerful eyes, for he can spot a carcass from a great distance. Yet what is the object of all these great qualifications? A dead body, a rotting carcass. His perfection is just to discover a dead piece of meat and eat it. That's all. Similarly, we may have a very high education, but what is our objective? Sense enjoyment, the enjoyment of this material body. We may rise very high with our spaceships, but what is the purpose? Sense gratification, that's all. This means that all the striving, and all this high education are merely on the animal platform. Therefore, we should first of all know that our miserable material condition is due to this body. At the same time, we should know that this body is not permanent. Although I identify with my body, family, society, country, and so many other things, how long will these objects exist? They are not permanent. Asad is a word meaning that they will cease to exist. Asannapi kleshada asa deha. The body is simply troublesome and impermanent. Many people come to us saying, Swamiji, my position is so troublesome. But as soon as we suggest the medicine, they will not accept it. Yes, this I've experienced. This means that people want to manufacture their own medicine. Why do we go to a physician if we want to treat ourselves? People want to accept only what they think is palatable. Although we are suggesting that this body is useless and is a form of contamination, we are not recommending that it be abused. We may use a car to carry us to work, but this does not mean that we should not take care of the car. We should take care of the car for it to carry us to and fro, but we should not become so attached to it that we are polishing it every day. We must utilize this material body in order to execute Krishna consciousness, and to this end we should keep it fit and healthy, but we should not become too attached to it. That is called yukta vairagya. The body should not be neglected. We should bathe regularly, eat regularly, sleep regularly in order to keep mind and body healthy. Some people say that the body should be renounced and that we should take some drugs and abandon ourselves to intoxication. But this is not a yoga process. Krishna has given us nice food, fruits, grains, vegetables, and milk, and we can prepare hundreds and thousands of nice preparations, and offer them to the Lord. Our process is to eat Krishna Prasad and to satisfy the tongue in that way. But we should not be greedy and eat dozens of samosas, sweet balls, and rasgullas. I want some samosas and sweet balls and one rasgulla. No, we should eat and sleep just enough to keep the body fit and no more. It is stated, Yuktahara viharasya yukta chetasya karmasu yukta svapana vabodasya yogo bhavati dukkaha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Gita 6:17. Although we should minimize our eating and sleeping, we should not attempt this too rapidly, at the risk of becoming sick. Because people are accustomed to eating voraciously, there are prescriptions for fasting. We can reduce our sleeping and eating, but we should remain in good health for spiritual purpose. We should not attempt to reduce eating and sleeping too rapidly or artificially. When we advance, we will naturally not feel pain due to the reduction of these natural bodily processes. In this respect, Raghunath Das Goswami offers a good example. Although a very rich man's son, Raghunath Das left his home to join Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he was the only son, Raghunath Das was very beloved by his father. Understanding that his son had gone to Jagannath Puri to join Lord Chaitanya, the father sent 4 servants with the money to attend him. At first, Raghunath accepted the money, thinking, "Oh, since my father has sent all this money, I will accept it and invite all the sannyasis to feast." After some time, however, the feast came to an end. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then inquired from his secretary, Svarupa Damodar, "Nowadays, I don't receive any invitations from Raghunath. What has happened?" "That is because Raghunath has stopped accepting his father's money." "Oh, that's very nice," Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Raghunath was thinking, "Although I have renounced everything, I am still enjoying my father's money. This is hypocritical." Therefore, he has told the servants to go home and has refused the money. "So how is he living?" Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired. "Oh, he is standing on the steps of the Jagannath temple, and when the priests pass him on their way home, they offer him some prasad. In this way, he is satisfied." This is very nice, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu commented. Regularly going to the Jagannath temple, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could see Raghunath standing on these steps. After a few days, however, he no longer saw him there. Therefore, the Lord commented to his secretary, I no longer see Raghunath standing on the temple steps." "He has given that up," Svarupa Damodar explained. "He was thinking, why am standing here just like a prostitute, waiting for someone to come and give me food? No, I don't like this at all." "That is very nice," Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. "But how is he eating?" "Every day he's collecting some rejected rice from the kitchen and is eating that." To encourage Raghunath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day visited him. "Raghunath," the Lord said, "I hear that you are eating very palatable food. Why are you not inviting me?" Raghunath did not reply, but the Lord quickly found the place where he kept the rice, and the Lord immediately took some and began to eat it. "Dear Lord," Raghunath implored, "please do not eat this. It is not fit for you." "Oh no? Why do you say it is not fit for me? It is Lord Jagannath's prasad."
Mm.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enacted this pastime just to discourage Raghunath from thinking, I am eating this miserable rejected rice. Okay, Hare Krishna, who wants to continue?
Anyone? Shall I?
Yes, Prabhu, you can also continue.
Okay. Okay. Through the Lord's encouragement, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami reduced his daily quantity of food until he was finally eating only one pat of butter every other day. And every day he was also bowing down hundreds of times and constantly chanting the holy name Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nitivi Vakala Vasina Kartua. Okay. Although this is an excellent example of minimizing all material necessities, we should not try to imitate it. It is not possible for an ordinary man to imitate Raghunatha Das, Dasa Goswami, who was one of the six Goswamis, a highly elevated associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Each one of the six Goswami displayed a unique example of how one can advance in Krishna consciousness. But it is not our duty to imitate them. We should just try to follow as far as possible in their footsteps. If we immediately try to become like Raghunatha Dasa Goswami by imitating him, we are sure to fail. And whatever progress we have made will be defeated. Therefore, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 16, that there is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi if one eats too much or too little. The same moderation applies to sleep. Presently, I may be sleeping 10 hours a day, but if I can keep myself fit by simply sleeping 5 hours, why sleep 10? As far as the body is concerned, there are four demands: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The problem with modern civilization is that it is trying to increase this demand, but this should be decreased instead. Eat what we need and sleep when we need, and our health will be excellent. There is no question of artificial imitation. And what is the result obtained by one who is temperate in his habits? Yada vinyatam sitam yat atmane ivasti stahate nispraha sarva kame vayo yakta it uchayate tada. When the yogi, by practicing of yoga, discipline his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to have attended yoga. I would like to repeat this. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be attend yoga. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 18. The perfection of yoga means keeping the mind in a state of equilibrium. Materially speaking, this is impossible. But reading a mundane novel once, you will not want to read it again. But you can read Bhagavad Gita 4 times a day and still not tire of it. You may chant someone's name a half an hour or sing a mundane song 3 or 4 times. But before long, this becomes tiresome. Hare Krishna, however, can be chanted day and night, and one will never tire of it. Therefore, it is only through transcendental vibrations that the mind can be kept in a state of equilibrium. When one's mental activities are thus stabilized, one is said to have attended attained yoga. The perfectional stage of yoga was exhibited by King Amrisha, who utilized all his senses in the service of the Lord, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th Canto, chapter 4, verse 18 to 20. Save mana Krishna padaravindayor vasam si vaikuntha gunanuvarnane कराउ हरेर मंदिरा मरजाना दिसु श्रितम चक्रा युता अथ सत कथोदये मुकुंद लिंगलया दर्शने द्रस्यु तद तद वर्त्यागत्र स्पर्शे निगसन गमन ग्रनम चा तपद सर्जो सुर अभे श्रीमत् तुलस्य रसनम तद अर्पिते पदौ हरे क्षेत्रे पदनानुसार पने शिरो ऋषिकेश पद विवंदने कमं कमंचादस्यै न तु कम यया यथोतन no यथोतम मास्लोके Janasraya, right. Okay, so King Ambarisa first all engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then one after another, he engaged his words in describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord, his hand in mopping the temple of the Lord, his ear in hearing of the activities of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the transcendental form of the Lord, his body in touching the bodies of the devotees, his smell of smelling in smell, his sense of smelling in smelling the sense of the lotus flower offered to the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaf offered at the temple of the Lord, his head in offering offenses unto the Lord, and his desire in executing the mission of the Lord. All these transcendental activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. This, then, in the perfection of yoga, devoid of all material desire. If all our desires are for Krishna, there is no scope for material desire. All material desires is automatically finished. We don't have to try to concentrate artificially. All perfection is there in Krishna consciousness because it is on the spiritual platform. Being on the spiritual platform, this supreme yoga is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Therefore, there are no misgivings or material impediment. Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, now let's go to six Astakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreyah Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Haribol, one straight.
Prabhu, you can continue.
Okay, Prabhu.
I'm still, learning this.
Yes, I can send this one. 1 second. Okay, we can hear it this time.
Okay, yeah. That will be better. I've just started actually.
Yes, Prabhu. Where is this? 1 second.
What's the name of this?
So we will study now.
Yeah, it's Sri Siksastakam.
Okay.
I wonder, have you sent a message to me?
Okay, I will do it right away.
I will share it with you so you can learn it.
Okay.
I'll just send it to the group so you can save it.
Yeah, that will be better. So.
Okay, I'll play it now.
Sure.
So we will study now. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam Shreyah Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam पूर्णामृतास्वादनम् सर्वात्मा स्नपरं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रार्पिता नियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन्ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशमिहा जनिनानुरागः. This is the third verse of the Shikshashtaka. Trinadapi sunicena taroriva sahishnuna अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीयः सदा हरिः न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे हाश्लिष्यवापादरतां पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान्मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः.
Haribol, Sri Shikshastakam ki jai. Now let's go to translation. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separation, some considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or mistakes, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribol, Sri Shikshastakam ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Panchadadva ki jai, Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Jagat Guru Shila Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.